Thank you so much for being on the show today, Asha.
Thank you for having me.
Let me just start off with, where does this shortage come from? Why is there a gap, and why is it so difficult to find talent in the Amazon space?
COVID happened, is the biggest catalyst of accelerating e-commerce growth. And we went from what would have been the growth accelerated by about 9 years. So we're in a place where Amazon and all levels of e-commerce is in huge demand. Then what do you do to manage Amazon? How do you find the right skills in the market segment to manage Amazon? And that's why we have the skill gaps that we've currently got.
So they flooded the market 2 years ago, billions of dollars of capital, started to buy brands, need to manage these. To what extent did that, in your view, exacerbate the situation?
Lots of businesses needed to, of course, work out how to manage Amazon. And I think what they did was they looked to their existing Amazon talent and asked them to upskill themselves very quickly, or they outsourced it to an agency. I feel that it's a fascinating space and time, because people and businesses that needed to drive growth on Amazon had to quickly learn what was working and what wasn't working for them. And it became quite clear that there was a very limited pool of resources that you can tap into to help drive Amazon for you in your business.
Isn't there an option just to kind of develop your own team and promote from within? There must be some e-commerce experience. How do you think about that?
My thoughts very much is when we talk about Amazon skills in the market segment, because Amazon was treated like a tier 2 or tier 3 account, a lot of this skill sets had to self-learn. Then COVID happens and these skills are being challenged to make Amazon this amazing platform. Senior managers that don't typically understand Amazon become quite overwhelmed and almost easily swayed and bring that talent in. The other thing that I think happened is ridiculous level of salaries were offered if you had the word Amazon on your CV. And when you kind of look back at the last 12 years, what is happening is those pools of people that didn't necessarily have the skills to see through the strategic plan that they've put in place, and therefore then move around. And very quickly, what we have, I think, in our market segment is a skill shortage in the world of Amazon that have had to self-learn, haven't had the grit and backbone to see it through. You need failure. Failure is an important way of learning, and you have to be able to make mistakes. The challenge in all of this is also the fact that Amazon is consistently changing. So these skills also need to stay very fresh and very, very knowledgeable about the things that are happening rapidly across many categories in Amazon.
What are some of the biggest kind of mistakes that you see them make, or some of the things that you really encourage them to think about as they go through that process?
In terms of recruitment, in the 3 years of owning this agency, I always say, when people come to me and say, look, I think we need to hire an Amazon talent, what do we do? I always start by saying, what type of Amazon skill are you looking for? I like to put the Amazon skills into buckets. First, I think it's really important to understand where you are in your journey with Amazon and what do you want to do over the next 3 years. What's your 3-year business plan with Amazon? And then hire the talent based around what you want to do to drive your business forward. Conduct an audit and assessment for you first. Let us find for you what is working, what's not working, and we'll present it back to you. And then we will help and support recruiting in that space based on the findings of what's working and what's not working well for you.
Starting out as a vendor, where would you start in terms of the skill set if you were to hire? What do you need to hire for versus what skills can you teach if you have to pick?
Yeah, so I would say for a business that is either just launching in the space of Amazon or have been established for a year, I challenge whether you need to hire immediately or whether you bring in an expert agency and outsource those elements. I don't believe that you should outsource your entire Amazon business to an agency. What I believe you should do is have somebody managing elements of it, but outsource specialists area.
Let's call it an Amazon vendor. I have a specific talent need, and I could go hire an agency or upskill an internal team or recruit externally. Those are the options before me to fill a specific need. What are some of those decision points that might lead me one way or another? Around the specific need, or maybe what are some questions that you'd want to ask the vendor do that?
What I would probably say is, what are you trying to achieve with your Amazon growth over the next 3 years? Are you a brand-led business, or are you a trade? If you're a brand-led business, I would then say that you probably want to outsource that specialism to an agency. So I would carve out what is the plan. I'd carve out what are the most important factors. And then I would decide whether I recruit, look at my existing team, work out if there is a skills shortage and a gap. How am I going to plug that gap? Because I actually do believe that businesses should be given the opportunity to their own internal candidates fast. And give them the opportunity to develop and learn in this Amazon space. Otherwise, we're in a never-ending cycle of a skill shortage gap. And give them the opportunity to learn Amazon from experts, but allow them to also make mistakes.
I've heard you talk a lot about the Amazon mindset and how having one can really help brands to be more successful. What does it really mean when you talk about it?
When I talk about the Amazon mindset, I'm talking about senior leaders in a business that understand the importance of Amazon and don't ignore the importance of Amazon. It's unhealthy for a business to only be trading with Amazon or to have a huge percentage of their business with Amazon. So it's actually about understanding where to balance, where to allocate stock, but the implications of if they then allow independent sellers to sell through Amazon Marketplace and what that impact would be then on their brand, or the impact of not investing correctly in the space of Amazon advertising, as an example.
For anyone who's watching this live or afterwards or listening to the podcast and want to get in touch with you, what is the best way to do that?
I am reachable on my email address, which is asha@etopiaconsultancy.com.